Hey, how you doing?
I'm
What's going
well.
on?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm well.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining me. I
Thank
mean,
you.
STG is killing it, and Dance This is one of those anchor programs that a lot of people in the community have really been tapping in with. Tell us a bit about your history and your past that brought you all the way here to Dance This as a choreographer
Well, that
this
might
year.
take a minute. I quick recap. I grew up in Kenya. I was born in Kenya and moved to the United States. Went to Virginia. Was a computer engineer for the longest time. Fell into dance. Fell in love with it. I moved to LA and I started training there. And then I met Kirsten Barron Kenny, who is Rick Kenny's wife, and we've had a relationship for a really long time. They invited me before the pandemic to come up and create some choreography for them, but the pandemic happened, so I wasn't able to come. So they asked me to come in to do it for the 24th season, and I'm here. I'm really
Wow.
excited.
Wow, what an amazing pathway.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. And I'm glad I asked you because people would just assume, oh, you've always been in dance. You probably started when you
No.
were a kid. The idea that you can find your path along the path is so important to me. Now, this is an amazing show every year, and I've been several times. I can't wait to see it. Tell us a bit about what folks can expect at this year's Dance This.
Well, for me, Dance This is something that's amazing because they bring all these cultures together. They bring culture and dance together. And one of the things that helps bring culture and dance together is people. So there's all different kinds of people that are going to be at this event. We have we have Korean representation. We have Mexican representation. We have Eastern Europe representation. We have Indian representation. We've got the tap ensemble, and then we have guest choreographers like myself and some of the choreographers that are going to be there. And I think the thing that brings it together is all of us coming together as a unit and showing the world that we're a world. And having all these people dance together as a unit is something that is really, really unique and special. And I think people come to the show and see what's available to them from different points of view. They'll take a different mindset away from what dance is and how it can actually impact your life and how it can actually impact your connection to another human being. That's what I love about Dance This.
Well, I really appreciate it too, because I think artistry has a real unique way of blending, culture and connectivity,
Hmm.
right? Because, any form of art almost has this kind of multifaceted way
Hmm.
about it, but also these very unique characteristics that come from different culture and ethnicity. So I love that, you even mentioned that, and that dances is a way to really blend all of that and
Hmm.
get us to see the world through dance, right? It's so important. I mean, one of my favorite groups, of course, is Northwest Tap Connection, and I know
Uh-huh.
that Miss Melba, they've always been involved in Dance This, and it's such an amazing thing because STG has really been intentional about their relationships and community. How have you been able to experience that as a guest choreographer this year?
Well, first coming up to Seattle and just experience, well, I got to tell you, first coming up to Seattle and experiencing just the ride from the airport to the hotel, I met this man who was from Kenya, which is funny because I was born in Kenya. And we were just talking about the cultural experience of him being a Kenyan man living in Seattle and how it was expanding his range and his mind of what is possible for him in another country.
Mm.
That's the first part. The second part, coming up and just meeting people in the industry and finding out how they represent themselves in Seattle, how Seattle is represented in the dance community, has been a really wonderful experience. The dancers that I'm working with right now are from all different backgrounds, all different age ranges, all different types, sizes, colors. It's so important. And I'm happy to see that diversity is out here in Seattle and that it's being represented in Seattle Theater Group. I
Mhm.
think it's really important that representation is important and it matters that we show everybody that the diversity of all of us together
Yeah.
is a super important thing.
It really is. And I think from your perspective as a choreographer,
Mhm.
I gotta ask, how does that perception and that perspective you have infuse how you create dance?
So for me, starting dance in Los Angeles was a challenging situation because at the time I was a short black man in the 90s and everybody was just hiring tall white men in the 90s.
Mm.
So when I auditioned for Janet Jackson, I was that close to getting it, but because of my height, kept me down. So for me, I thought to myself, I'm going to start a dance company, and that dance company is going to be reflective of the world. And so Commonality Dance Company was born from that idea. And so we have traveled around the world, and I have every race, every culture you could imagine in my company. And that was the primer for me to start thinking, I want to create a community that is always going to look like this. So no matter where I go, I want to create that kind of community. When I went back to Africa to teach for Kenya Performing Arts Group, that was one of the most life-changing moments for me because I had been gone for a while.
Mhm.
And coming back to see my people and see how they're working and see the things that they had to work with. Like they had really bad floors. They had really bad mirrors. They had really, puts the thoughts in my head of, I'm going to come back. I'm going to start raising money so we can go back to Kenya and give these people the kind of dance studio that they need. That's my goal. My goal is to, how can I, as a dancer or choreographer, be able to use my platform and help other people in the world? And if the first thing I can do is start with Commonality Dance Company and create a diverse group of dancers, that's great. And then if I can come to Seattle Theater Group and dance this and lend my voice to the dancers that are here, that's going to help them say to them, how can I do better in the community? How can I help somebody else that maybe not be as fortunate as me? That's how we're all going to go forward. That's the only way we're going to move forward.
Oh, yes, and yes, and yes. I actually spent quite a bit of time in Mombasa. And
Ooh.
so I gotta tell you, as soon as you said Kenya, I was like, oh, my
I miss
home, right?
Kenya. I
Like,
miss it.
and it's so amazing that you're not only really spreading your joy of dance and your passion for dance in the way that you do as a choreographer, but that you take it to another level to think about how you can utilize your company to then make sure that the folks over there have what they need.
Have to.
This is why I really love this platform. I love media because I get to talk to folks like yourself that are uplifting me every time I get to make this kind of connection with someone. I'm so inspired by what you shared here today.
Thank you.
Well, I'm also glad because dance, this is going to be top notch. Make sure you can look right there. Tell the people how they can see this show. I know it's coming up this week, and I'm so glad that you were here to help share this. Make sure they know where to find it.
Yeah, so Dance This is going to be at the Moore Theater. It's going to be at 7:30 on Friday, this coming Friday. You can get tickets at stgpresents.org. They're $18 pre-sale, $20 at the door, so you might as well get them cheaper. And you're going to have a great time. You have no idea what you're about to experience. You're going to take some love home. You're going to take some energy home, and it's hopefully going to nourish your spirit.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure it's going to be nourishing mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely work to be there in the building.
I
And
hope so.
Adam, thank you so much for bringing your expertise to this amazing production. I can't wait to see what you have created.
Thank you, and thank you for lending your platform to this. It's really important. I really appreciate you for that.
Absolutely. Our partnership with SCG matters.
Yeah.
It matters
does
to me
matter.
here.
It
And
does
I,
matter.
again, they're doing such great work that, we want to do everything we can to highlight it. So thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.